I will start by saying I love aspects of Russell Wilson to the Giants. We have never seen Russell Wilson play for a big-time market. Not in college when he was in Wisconsin, not in college at NC State, not in the NFL in Seattle, not in the NFL with Denver, not in the NFL with Pittsburgh. He's played for big-time franchises, but he hasn't been in a top 10 media market. Russell Wilson, one of the most polarizing characters in all of sport. The New York Giants, one of the most publicized teams in all of sport. Now you're adding one of the most publicized teams, one of the most polarizing characters. It will be television history. It will be something that we will talk about regardless. Regardless, we're going to talk about it. Think about how much we talked about Daniel Jones. Yeah. And Daniel Jones has not earned the right to be talked about in college nor in the NFL. You going to get talked about if you play for the Giants. Russ, we will be talking about you. For that reason, I love it. You now get the attention that your Hall of Fame career deserves. I also love it because, Russell Wilson, you now get to play again for like a star-studded by name brand team. They ain't got the star players, but by name brand, a star-studded team. We're going to see you probably on Thanksgiving Day. Maybe against the Cowboys in front of 36 million people. We might even see you on Christmas Day, the way things been shaking out with Netflix and whatnot, in front of 30 to 40 million people. The whole world will get to see Russell Wilson and the Wilson Sierra included. For that reason, I love it, but I will say there's a lot of things that give me pause and make me hesitate on it. I'll share those later.
I got to be honest, Acho, man. I hear you, man.
Television history, baby.
Let's be respectful here. Listen, man, I'm happy for Russ.
No doubt.
I'm sorry, I'm not happy. I'm loving for Russ.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is for a black man to get a job?
Talk about it.
How can you say that? Listen, anytime a black man got a job, I'm happy for him. My dad was, if he heard you say that, he'd be pissed off. Pops with, hello? No, but I love it for Russ. You know, you get him I think with a guy like Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's a really good coach. Yep. I mean, for God's sake, he took Daniel Jones, like he helped him go to the playoffs. Like, how, huh? You? Yeah. And I think with Russ is a lot better, a lot better than Daniel Jones. Solid running game, solid defense. You know, I don't expect much from the Giants because the Giants don't have the talent, okay? They don't really have that talent that you really want. And I don't trust the GM to get better players in the office or in the locker room. I see what they did with Saquon Barkley, which I couldn't believe, right? When I was hearing the news about Saquon's on the Eagles, I couldn't even believe it. Like, the Giants really let him go. So I think from the GM standpoint, it's going to be hard to fill them players in there because he's just not that good at his job. But I think with Russ, I think you upgrade from last year with Daniel Jones, right? I think you get a really good young wide receiver that you can work with that, solid running game, and an excellent head coach and Brian Daboll. So I'm happy for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I love it. I love it for Russ. He gets to keep playing. And I think that's the biggest thing is the teams were getting very small out there, and the teams that won them. It was the Browns, it was the Giants, maybe it was the Steelers.
It only takes one.
Didn't go. But as I've said before, and as Shady knows and has listened to me, it only takes one team. So I do like that the Giants sign him. And quite honestly, it's really smart. If you really think about it for the New York Giants, you go out, you sign Jameis Winston a 2-year, $8 million deal. You go out, you sign Russell Wilson to only a $10.5 million deal. Add those numbers up, okay, on the $14.5 million for two guys who played good at times last year.
Yeah.
That $14 million is the same amount of money that Daniel Jones signed for the Colts.
Wow.
So I would rather have those two guys who have played well try to lead me out of a situation that I don't like being in, and that's the Giants. You're in a very difficult division. We know what the Commanders did with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, we know what Shady's Eagles are. They're the best team in the NFL right now. They're looking to go back-to-back. So getting out of the division is going to be difficult, but it's also let the best quarterback win the job. You know, we'll figure out draft when it comes, but let the best quarterback, like, win. I don't know how much better Russ makes the New York Giants, because if I'm Brian Daboll and I'm Joe Shane, I'm looking at like, hey, this at least gives me options to say if Russ flames out like he did at the end of the year, maybe we can put Jameis in. And then, but I just don't know how this lets those guys keep their jobs. Like, I feel like you have to go to the playoffs with these two if these two are the starters, or Russ is a starter, and win a playoff game for them to keep their job, because they almost got fired this year. So in a little bit, I'm like, what are the Giants doing? But on the surface, before we even dive into any of the X's and O's, it makes sense to get those two guys under contract for a combined $14.5 million.
I absolutely love it. I love it for Russ, I love it for the Giants, and I love it for Malik Neighbors, right? If you don't got a quarterback, you don't got a chance, right? right? And the Giants just got them a quarterback in Russell Wilson who played good football last year. You just gave yourself a chance. I absolutely love it because we can say whatever we want to say about the New York Giants, but they do have some talent on the roster, especially on that defensive line. You got a superstar at the wide receiver position, a really good number 2 in Slayton. They have some pieces, and now you get a quarterback to come in there. If Russell Wilson can play at a high level or a decent level, I think the Giants are going to be a solid football team. But I love it for Russ because you cannot continue to keep waiting on people. That's ain't how life works. You have to move on, and this is what he did. I'm not going to keep waiting on the Steelers. As much as I want to play there, as much as I got a crib there, Sierra got all this Pittsburgh Steelers gear, I'm out of there. And I love this for him saying, man, listen, I ain't waiting on y'all no more. I got to do what's best for me and my family. I'm gone, and I think Russ is going to be pretty good.
Now, here's my concern, though, because obviously in the facility, we will try to keep it a little bit more real than other shows. There's a lot to hate as well. The Giants were 3-14 last year. Russell Wilson was 6-5 last year. Jameis was 2-5 last year. So the Giants were 3-14, and their quarterback room collectively and cumulatively was 8-10. Mm-hmm. So you have a losing record between those two quarterbacks, and you got a losing record for that one team. What I potentially could hate about it is very simple. Russell Wilson could, in a year from now, be searching for his 5th team in 6 years. Because we assume if the Giants don't go to the playoffs, which will be hard to do in the division with the Commanders and the Eagles, and again, the Cowboys historically have made the playoffs, just haven't done a ton there. If the Giants don't go to the playoffs, head coach, probably gone.
No, gone.
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 General manager,
gone.
Gone. Thus quarterback, gone.
Gone.
So as much as we gonna sit here and say we love it for Russ, as somebody who cares about Russ, as somebody who obviously knows Russ personally, there's a lot to hate as well. Because if you go to New York and you don't succeed, which is going to be incredibly hard to do, I don't believe the Giants have won just one playoff game since that 2018 appearance. If you go and you don't succeed, Russ, you gone too. And now we're going to think about Russ as a journeyman, Broncos, Steelers, Giants, and wherever he ends up next year. Like, that to me, I do not like.
That's real.
Well, he got a lot of money for the Broncos, so he'll be all right with that. The second, like when you're a quarterback, or not even a quarterback, it's a player in this league, I mean, what's Russ, 14 years right now? 13? What is
14,
it?
I think.
I mean, how many years is he going to play more than that? He ain't Brady. Like, think about this for a second. How many players just in general play that long?
He probably got 3 to 4 more, though,
I feel like Russ wants to play 3 or 4 more.
I mean, I don't care what he wants to do. My thing is how it works. From the great Aaron Rodgers right now, man, you think he feels great about what's going on? This is part of the game. Every great player you could talk about, I could tell you how his career ended. And it's never great. You know what I'm saying? So any team that he picked to go to that he liked or y'all liked, he had a 1-year deal.
But then here's my question for the veterans at the desk. Because you played 12 years, you played 14, you played 9. I only played 4.
My phone or
you don't need it yet. You don't need the superstar phone yet. Then why do y'all love this for him? Because just because you are playing for another team doesn't necessarily give you something to love. Shady, you've talked about this ad nauseum. You could have kept playing in your NFL career. Yeah. Chase, you've talked about it as well. You got calls. You could have kept playing. James, you talked about it 2 shows ago, or maybe Friday's show. You told the general manager, I'm done. They didn't tell you, James, you're done. So all of y'all could have kept playing. And I wouldn't have been like, yeah, I love it for Shady. He's playing 13 years. Nah, because you can also accept the reality of this isn't a great situation, and I don't know that New York is.
I think it's just different, though, because, like, every player is different. So I could put myself in Russ's shoes where he's a superstar. And it's like, if I had to go back and do it again, I probably would have played some of them games. The difference is Russ is still considered starting.
Yes.
At the end of my career, it was, okay, Shady, hey, we want you to help out, be a mentor, be a veteran. Yeah. I hated that.
You was a BB?
If I'd have came, never was a BB.
You just said a BB in the morning.
I was burying the guys I was playing, because they knew that. You know. Anyway, real quick. But serious here.
You got him off the mark.
Because James playing around.
Trying to work.
Black man got a job. You might not have one. Keep playing around. Serious question. Serious answer here. So I was saying this. If I had a chance to compete for a starting job, I'd have still played. Because now I look at things, I had a great career, right? But I could have added another 300, 400 yards, 500 yards on my roster. I could have added another 6, 7 touchdowns on my drink. Now, some players, it don't matter because their career is what it is. But a superstar like Russ, he got a real career. He got Pro Bowls on Pro Bowls. He got all pros. He got a real name. So when he's done, him and Sierra, because they might ask more kids where they going. But whenever he's done with everything, and he's sitting back in his big mansion, big crib, he like, wow, dog. I had all these great years with Seattle, right? And then I ended my career with this little team, the Giants, but I added on another, I don't know, 2,000 yards, 3,000 yards to his resume. Resume really, really matters when you're a superstar player.
So I think,
where he's trying to go.
especially he's trying to go to the Hall of Fame. I
sure.
agree with Shady to a point, but Shady, you sort of turned away your ego and said, hey, I'm willing to go and back up and to help these young guys. And you got rings because of it. But you still went. You still signed. So with Russell at quarterback, the reason why I said I loved it for Russell, there was a really real possibility that he could have got left out of this QB carousel if he did not choose. That's just the way the league is thinking of him as a player. So I love it for him because I don't know if he's not uber successful, if this is not the last time we see Russell Wilson starting.
But that's every quarterback.
Yeah. But I'm just saying for Russ specifically, like I don't know if Russ is going to be able to go, and I don't know if he'll be a backup. Like he's not going to sign somewhere to be a backup. He'll hang it up before that. I just imagine that.
Go ahead, Jay. You go.
I love it because I think this is a real opportunity for Russ to change the whole thing around. You get with a great coach. You get with not the Giants, his career. Like, I think this can turn into a couple years with Russell Wilson. I think he's going to play well under Daboll. They have a number one wide receiver. I pray and hope they add Travis Hunter. Now you got two of them. But you got a really good defensive line. He's in a really good situation. You went to a
hold on, James. That's a lie.
That's
why you not in a really good situation?
How can you say,
they're 3-14?
How can you say that he's going to turn his career around?
Tommy DeVito and a bad quarterback.
James, the Steelers are a much better team than the Giants. How are you going to say you can go from a worse to a worse team,
significantly
a much worse team,
offensive line,
and turn his season
Brian
around?
Daboll.
I'm talking about Russ as a quarterback. In the Pittsburgh Steelers system as a quarterback, you are not finna get coached like you are finna get coached by Brian Daboll.
That's true, but
Brian Daboll had Daniel Jones. What do you think Daniel Jones is gonna look like in that Pittsburgh offense? He probably not gonna look that good. Russ looked good in that offense. With Brian Daboll, I think Russ can take a step and play some good football.
I don't disagree with Russ being able to play good football. The dilemma is quarterbacks will always be looked at by do they win or do they lose? Russ could throw for 28 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, which, remember, his last year in Denver, he did.
He played well down the stretch, really well.
But you can play well, but if you lose, it's all for naught. There's not a world in my mind.
Coach too in that situation, man.
There's just not a world. There's not a world in my mind where the New York Giants are going to be better than the Commanders this year, where they're going to be better than the Eagles this year.
So he's not saying that. He's just saying he's going to play well enough because Aaron Rodgers didn't win no games last year, right?
Sure, correct.
And Chase comes over every day and says how everybody wants Aaron Rodgers, right?
But that's because I believe Rodgers has that lore, that legacy of what Aaron Rodgers has done, 4 MVPs. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what it is. Russ played well in Pittsburgh last year.
Yeah.
The team didn't play well. Played well. Russ played well in Denver that year. Team didn't play well, played well. The Broncos didn't want him. The Steelers didn't want him. So even if Russ plays well this year, I don't see a world, James, where it's like, yeah, but Russ, you played well. The Giants aren't a good organization. Their defense was 21st in the league. Their offense was 31st in the league. Even if their offense is top 25, they're not winning 10 games.
So what I'm understanding, if Russell Wilson comes out here and plays well and they win 9 games and he has a good season, you mean to tell me the Giants is going to say kick rocks and we bringing in a rookie?
Yeah. The Broncos did and the Steelers.
No, I think so.
The Broncos is out of it.
The Steelers
did not like Russ.
The Steelers did too. The Steelers said kick rocks. Hey, we either want Justin Fields or kick rocks. We want to draft somebody. So what you're asking, James, you've gotten the answer to it the last 2 years.
So basically you guys are saying wherever Russ goes, it's 1 year, then a journeyman again. 1 year, then a journeyman again. So it don't matter where he's signed.
I think the Giants are a dearth franchise right now. I think the Giants do not have enough support for Russell Wilson.
We're talking about Russ. If Russ plays well.
I'm saying the Giants don't have enough support for Russell Wilson.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a question, though.
He might get another job somewhere.
Can I ask you this?
It won't be in New York. It's a Band-Aid in New York.
Let me ask you this, though. So we watched Brian Daboll. Before I even ask about Brian Daboll, how do y'all feel about Daniel Jones?
Russ is better. That's what
not a good quarterback. Chase.
That's fair.
Chase is better. Is he a bad quarterback?
Russ is better. I don't call people bad on national television or trash or weak or any of that. So,
Russ is better. Go ahead.
Russ is better.
Okay. All right. So if Brian Daboll could take well, he don't want to say bad, but if Brian Daboll could take a bad quarterback like Daniel Jones and they go to the playoffs or whatever, he looks good. Because everybody talks about how good he played. He really was above average. He just looked decent.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
You telling me if Brian Daboll could do that for him, he can't do that for Russ? And if Russ plays well, he won't have no more opportunities?
Context, though, 2-5.
Okay.
And you know better than anybody. Context. The NFC East then is not the NFC East now. The Commanders weren't then. The Eagles sure as heck weren't then. They weren't then now. And then the NFC North wasn't what it was then.
I'm just talking about his play.
I'm saying, no, we talking about the playoffs is what you said. There's just not a world, bro. Bro, the Giants are worse than every team in the NFC North. Is that fair to say NFC North?
NFC East?
North. I'm just saying, like,
North.
Like worse. Because think about it. You don't have to be better than. You don't have to be better. You got to beat them in the wild card spot.
I mean, this is
I'm saying,
on paper right now.
On paper right now,
the Giants are one of the worst franchises right now.
I don't mind the Giants right now.
I'm not talking about the team.
I'm talking about Russ.
I'm talking about the player, the quarterback.
Russ is not like that where he can elevate them so much. Like, he's not like that anymore, James. Like, you're living in the past.
Playoffs, dog.
He's not making the playoffs.
I can't say
But I'm saying that's what you guys are saying. Listen, did Russell Wilson play solid last year?
At times, yes.
Of course.
It was 6 and 5,
played
right?
good. I say he played
even
good.
played good in some of the games to where the defense gave up 30-plus points.
I think he played good.
I'm saying if he gets with Brian Daboll and he plays good football and the New York Giants win 8 to 9 games, it might not equal playoffs. But if Russ plays well under Brian Daboll, why wouldn't you sign him back? What you guys are saying, Russ should just retire now because you're going to be on a team.
Brian Daboll and Joe Shane will not be there if they win 8 or 9 games, big dog.
I disagree with that,
They
too.
almost
I think
got fired this year.
I think it depends on how it looks.
Russ is a Band-Aid. He's not the franchise quarterback.
But
He's not going to be back there, James. There's no way.
Think about this for a second, though, to Shady and James's point if Russ plays well. If I were to tell you, y'all at home, Russ had 42 touchdowns and 13 interceptions over the last 2 years, you would be like, oh, dang, what team he on? Because clearly he wouldn't have moved. He has 42 touchdowns and 13 interceptions the last 2 years, and he's on his 3rd team in 3 years. So to me, Shady, James, it's not even that I disagree with y'all. It's that coaches and organizations disagree with y'all. How do you move off of a quarterback that had 16 touchdowns, 5 picks in 11 games last year? That's what he did. How do you move off of a quarterback that had 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions a year before? That's what he did. And this is Sean Payton who moved off of him, a Hall of Fame coach, and Mike Tomlin who moved off of him, a Hall of Fame coach.
Point.
So I don't even disagree with you, Shady, or James' ideology, not at all, but 42 touchdowns and 13 picks, you don't move off of that. But for some reason, teams do.
Well, no, you always say it's always nuance to every conversation.
Provide it.
Okay,
please.
so first of all, Sean Payton, that wasn't his player. That wasn't his coach.
Thank you.
And then, like, a lot of times in teams, y'all know it's from college and in the pros, when a new coach comes on there, he wants to get his own type of players.
Okay, that's fair. Get to Tomlin.
Okay. Now, that Tomlin thing, I can't really argue that because for you to say like it's such a smart move for them to do that, you try to sign Justin Fields.
And Sam Darnold and Aaron Rodgers before you.
I don't know all that. I don't know about all that else.
But at least
because they're interested in all them guys. So I don't know but how true everything is. What I do know is that you really wanted Justin Fields, and I can't understand that. I can't understand it. You can't understand it.
Right.
You can't understand it.
Nope.
You might because you just like bad quarterbacks. So my thing is, why was that, though? Yeah. For you to answer like that with your chest out, cool. Okay, you're right about that. So then tell me why I still wanted Justin Fields. I'll wait. Tell me why.
I can't. But what I can tell
you say you can't?
I know.
You see what I'm saying? So I can't understand none of this stuff they got going on.
But here's the dilemma. What you do know is this.
We're
We're not making these decisions.
Yeah. No.
People are. So coaches that are making the decisions, multiple of them prefer Justin Fields over Russell Wilson. So what is it that they know that we don't? Because I know enough to know I don't know everything. So if Justin Fields was preferred by the Jets and by the Steelers and by the Giants, because clearly Russell wasn't preferred that much because he's only making $10 million, Jay.
We don't know why the Steelers are not bringing Russ back. It could be a multiple of things. It could be locker room. We do not know, right? We know he played solid. But it's multiple stories out there that worked out different situations for everybody. The Vikings didn't want Sam Darnold. He just played well. Nobody wanted Geno. Hold on. Nobody wanted Geno Smith until he got to the Seattle Seahawks, and Geno changed his career.
True.
I'm just going off the player. If Russell Wilson plays well under Brian Daboll's system, I don't know how you say, you know what, Russ, you played well. You had 30 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. We're going to draft one. I don't know if that's the plan because you are going to get fired.
Hold on, Chase, please, if you may. James, explain literally the last 2 years.
Yeah,
it's happened.
It's happened.
If I were arguing
you guys are
with
acting like y'all don't know fits and coaches and all that.
No, but I'm suggesting, James, if I were arguing with you just based upon Emmanuel Acho's thoughts, guesstimation, and opinion, fine, I'd concede. But a Hall of Fame coach, Sean Payton, I agree with you. If you're like, hey, that wasn't Sean's guy, fine, James, you're right. Shady, you're right.
That was the
Mike Tomlin one. There's no counter to that.
The Mike Tomlin one is a head scratcher because we do not know why they do not Russ.
Mike Tomlin hand chose Russ. Mike Tomlin chose Russ over Fields after Fields started 4-2.
Put him in the game.
Russ started, I think, with 5 or 4 straight wins. Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach we all agree upon, and Mike said, Russ, I'm good. So y'all have to explain to me.
I can't explain that. We can't explain it, but this is what we can explain. can we stop acting like all these GMs and these coaches always make the right decisions?
No, but
they don't. Hold on, because he's
multiple guys.
He is a Hall of Fame coach, and I love Mike Tomlin, but he don't always make the right decision with these quarterbacks.
But there's Tomlin and there's Mike.
Hold up, but all I'm saying is you saying all that.
Yeah, there's Peyton and there's Mike.
You saying all that, right? But Tomlin and the Steelers, they did draft Kenny Pickett.
True.
I could keep going down the.
Of course.
Okay, this is much we praise him. Okay, sometimes you gotta get some blame for stuff you did that's not right. Correct?
Sure.
I was a great player, but I did some bad things.
But guys, Russ is 36. There's no way he's going to be a franchise quarterback.
That's the issue.
Like, what are we talking about? Even if he plays well, they're trying to.
Franchise.
But I'm just saying, no longer is that the case. That stopped being the case in Seattle, obviously, because then Seattle moved off of him, Denver moved off of him, Pittsburgh moved off of him. Giants, even if he plays well, will probably move off of him.
I think because he is older. I think it's okay. He's not the franchise guy going.
Nobody's saying that.
But what I'm saying is, if he plays well, he's going to have a job somewhere.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
But name me a quarterback that's older that still just run around, just controls the franchise.
Stafford's the only one.
Yep.
Stafford won a championship, what, 3 years ago? So it's like, okay.
He's the only one who I was
And if you want to be technical.
They was talking about
The Giants.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
think about it. Stafford's the only one who I want to get traded.
Elite.
Okay, we'll give you more money. We'll give you more money. We'll give you more money.
Yeah, because he's playing at a high level right now, and his team went to the playoffs. So help me understand. If Russ plays well and they win 9 games and they don't make the playoffs, you
Coaches
guys
are getting fired.
Hold on. You saying the coaches is getting fired, Russell Wilson's not getting a new job. Now, let's say people get injured, right? And the Giants go to the playoffs at 9-8 like they did with Daniel Jones, so everybody keeps their job, Russ gets a new contract and all that? That's what you guys telling me?
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.